What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Franchise Empire newsletter. Excited to be with you today. Today, we are going to talk about a few things. Number one is a resale with $1 million in sales. We're going to talk about Pizza Hut. You ever wonder how much Pizza Hut franchises make, how much they cost to get open? Well, wonder no more. We're going to cover that today. And we'll cover a couple of other things as well that I think you will enjoy watching. Before we do, quick message. All right. If you're new here, my name is Tarek Johnson. I'm the CEO and founder of Franchise Empire, and I'm here with Mr. Mark Magerman, our head of brokerage. Good to see you, Mark.
You too, Tarek. How are you today?
Doing lovely.
Good.
All right, so we got some good stuff to go over today. Let's talk about our featured resale of the week. By the way, if you guys do not get this newsletter, you can go to franchiseempire.com/newsletter. We stream it on Mondays, 3 p.m. Eastern, Mark and I, and we go into detail. But you may want to have access to this on your own. And so we send this out 8 a.m. Sunday mornings. You can get it, go through it, and you just go to franchiseempire.com/newsletter, enter your email, and you'll get it every week. Okay. So if you're just joining for the first time, when we share these resales, we share them confidentially. Of course, if it's one that you're specifically interested in and wanted to look into, we'll share those details with you privately. But publicly, we've been asked to not share the brand or the specific location. So
yeah, honestly, Tarek, even in that case, and we protect that because they ask it, but even if we're given full access to the information, there's so much of it that the sellers aren't even making available to us. So we give you pretty much what we have, but the real goal is if you're interested, get in touch with us. We can put you right in touch with that seller. And obviously then you'll be able to get everything that you need.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, because some of the times you'll notice if you watched a bunch of our newsletters before, sometimes we have a lot of information on the resale. Sometimes we just have a little bit of information, and typically we're dealing with the whatever. I'm usually passing on whatever information we got. So in the instance of this one, this is the information we have. We don't have much more than this. So it's in South Illinois. So anyone who's in Illinois. It's a home service business. The asking price is $415,000, and the business is doing just over $1 million in sales. At least that's what they had listed in 2024. What I can share is that I know that this is a resale with a brand that has a great reputation and that has been around a long time. Mark, I know we have very limited information, but what are your thoughts on the limited data we do have?
Well, I would say that if it's brands that are in the Franchise Empire portfolio, brands that we do business with it's a curated list with high criteria. So that's why when Tarek says it's a resale from a very good brand, we're very positive about that. We're very confident that we're only representing really good brands. But again, when you see a sales number for a calendar year, I always would then say, let's look at it from the trailing 12 months. I know I say this again and again, but that's really that's information that if you're interested and the selling franchise owner will ask you to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and that will be one of the first things you want to ask. What have been the last 12 months of sales? Because again, 2024 gross sales of 1 million. Maybe they did 800,000 in January, February, March, and they did 400,000 the remaining part of the year. That's important to know. So that's the only thing I would say. But you're right. We just don't have much. Home service businesses, we love them because they're relatively lean, but we don't know much more than that. Although if it's asking price is $415,000, you could also make some conclusions that there's a very active cash flow of this business and they're selling it for multiples of that cash flow. So that's another thing you can count on here.
Yeah, all solid points. So guys, if you are interested in this, if you're in this area and interested in this specific resale, you want to find out more information, you want to get connected to the seller, then you can go to franchiseempire.com/resales, and you can schedule a free call with our team, and then, connect you as if appropriate. And if you're thinking, hey, no, I'm not in Illinois, I live in Florida, I live in Texas, I live somewhere else in the United States of America, and I'd like to know if you guys have a resale available in my area that matches my criteria, my goals. Great. We have a list of over 100 resales, and you can still go to that same link, fill it out, and then we'll be able to check and see if one's available in your area. We're going to be rolling out something pretty exciting that I think you guys are going to like, which is we'll be able to kind of have a more public list of the resales. Like right now, we're putting together a resale newsletter, because right now all you guys get is this one. You get one every week that we put together, and then really it's, if you schedule a call with our team, then we can check. We're in the process of putting together a newsletter that would show a whole grouping of different resales that are available. So
Again,
yeah.
not this doesn't, I don't mean this to be a shameless Franchise Empire plug when I say this. However, it may come out that way, but we work with a couple hundred really excellent franchises. Once a week on Mondays, we get an updated resale list. So we know what, so when Tarek says we have hundreds of opportunities, we're not sitting on brands or opportunities that, was available in, October of 2023. These are current franchise resales that are available. So that's one. And again, so we're getting current updated resales. Some of these third-party sites like a Biz Buy Sell or things like that, you could be looking at a resale listing that's been on there for 12, 15, 18 months and not even be accurate anymore. So the one thing coming to Franchise Empire, we'll be able to find out if there's any resales in your area. And we know they're going to be current and updated.
100%. All right, guys. Overall, our take, I mean, we gave our opinion. Great opportunity for a hands-on operator here. For all resales, our perspective is you really need to be a full-time owner for just resales in general. So if you're trying to come in and do it kind of like part-time, not the best idea. Resale, you want to come in and be hands-on. You're stepping into a vehicle that's already moving. So you need to have both hands on the steering wheel. That's a good analogy, right?
It is a good analogy, yes.
All right. Next up, whoops, double clicking here. Hey. Chandler? Was that Chandler or what was it? Ross?
I think that was Ross. I'm going way back in my memory banks, but like every other able-bodied American male, I had a Jennifer Aniston thing back when the show used to be on. So I remember being jealous of Ross back 20 years ago, whatever it was.
This is Mr. Ross. All right, let's see. Mark, do you want to share about Kurt? I think this was one of Laura's.
I didn't know Kurt, although I feel like I knew him just from working with Laura. Laura Pfeiffer is our broker, who's fantastic, who led the charge on helping Kurt and his wife, Julia. But 35 years in corporate banking, yikes. I mean, that's a long time to stay through corporate. And he was a chief marketing officer and senior VP. So you're talking about a guy who's completely successful in his chosen career path, who said, you know what? I don't like the future of what the company's going. I don't like being owned by a corporation. He was probably making a lot of money anyway, but I want something new. So he and his wife, Julia, had just moved from Iowa to Boston, back where my hometown is, to be closer to family. And he was definitely not looking to get back to the corporate grind. So they had to move, but he probably would have been just as easy getting transferred from his own company, wanted to do something a little different. He wanted a business he could be hands-on with, which I love that. When they want to be hands-on, that's a really good sign. Fast-paced, customer-focused, and built around quality. Looked at several opportunities. I remember Laura talking about showing him all these different opportunities. He had a love for cars. He had a mechanical mindset. And connection to the mission made an aviation dealing franchise perfect for him. So Laura, who is our broker, she listens to him. He talks about what he's looking at. Laura asks some questions, and they kind of focused on this aviation detailing franchise. Anybody who's familiar with franchising probably knows what franchise we're talking about here, because there's not hundreds of aviation detailing franchises, but they're now the proud owners of one territory right up here in my backyard. So Shame on me. I don't own a plane, but if I did, they'd be getting my business. Proud owners of one territory in Mass, and they're jumping into the next chapter with energy and purpose. Laura, who we just described, shared. Kurt brought a clear vision, strong instincts, and a real passion to the process. She's excited to see what he and Julia build together. And again, it just goes to show that as brokers, we're very professional. We've done this a long time, but the more willing you folks are to share your story, share your goals, share what you're looking for, the more likely you're going to find the perfect match for you in the franchising world. So, again, we love Laura because she does an amazing job. But congratulations for Kurt and Julia, and we know the brand that they're involved with, and they're going to kill it and do really, really well. We're really proud of everybody here.
Yeah, congrats, Kurt and Laura, or Julia, Kurt and Julia, Laura too. Super exciting. Really, really, really excited for them.
It's a good thing Laura's not very competitive too, right? So she lets us know all these details because she likes to win. That Laura.
Yes, we like competitors.
Yes, we do.
All right, franchise of the week, the good old Pizza Hut, guys. So we'll break down, how they started, how much it costs to open a Pizza Hut, revenue that they earn per location. But let's dive a little bit into the backstory first. Pizza Hut back in 1958 was started by two college brothers who borrowed $600 from their mom to open a small pizza shop. Now, granted, if we inflation adjusted, I would imagine that's probably about 10 times more, I'd guess, inflation adjusted. So probably $5,000 or $6,000 back then. And the sign above their door only had space for 8 letters. So that's how they came up with the name Pizza Hut. They needed to find something 8 letters or less. Did you know that, Mark?
I didn't, and I'm dying to know what their preferable name would have been if it wasn't Pizza Hut.
Right? I know.
No, I did not know that. I really did not know that.
Isn't it interesting that once you're so used to calling a brand that it's like it would be hard to imagine it any other thing in terms of any other name.
It's funny you say that. And then when you think about Pizza Hut, it's like Hut, not Pizza House or Pizza Dwelling, but Pizza Hut. It just sounds, when you hear Hut, don't you think of, like natives in Hawaii and grass huts and things like that. So interesting to know. I can now use, if you ever like to do trivia contests with your friends, here's a great trivia question to ask, right? Why is Pizza Hut called Pizza Hut?
Yes, that is a really good trivia question. All right, so they started small, but people love the pizza, and within a year they began franchising. And by 1966, guys, only 8 years later, they had 140 locations across the U.S., which is pretty wild. Just that sort of growth back in the 1960s. I mean, think about it, guys. Like the internet wasn't like really a thing back then. You're doing everything by mail, magazine. The word doesn't spread as quick. So to have that sort of growth in that period, I think is really impressive. And over the decades, Pizza Hut became known for its creativity. In 1995, they launched stuffed crust. I remember stuffed crust. I remember that was a thing. I remember loving stuffed crust, and I think it was an upcharge, right? Was stuffed crust an upcharge? It was like more expensive.
I think it was because it was so new and exciting. It probably was.
Yeah, I think I remember it was like having Pizza Hut was a treat, but having stuffed crust from Pizza Hut was even more of a treat. Like to spend the extra couple of bucks to get the stuffed crust.
And I'm embarrassed to say this. It's stuffed with more cheese, right?
Yeah.
It's a cheese stuffed. Yeah. Just what you need. Just what you need to fill in that low calorie pizza meal is this cheese stuffed crust. But yeah, I've had it a few times. It's really good. I didn't know if there was have they evolved to meat stuffed crust yet or not?
I'm sure.
I'm sure they have.
I'm sure they put all sorts of funny stuff in there.
I'm sure they have.
And they had a campaign featuring yours truly, Mr. Donald Trump, in there. That's funny. I feel like he was in all sorts of commercials and TV stuff back then. And in 2001, they made history by delivering the first pizza to space. It was vacuum sealed and extra seasoned for zero gravity and sent to the International Space Station with the Russian Space Agency. Did you know about that one, Mark?
I did not know that. Nope.
Yeah. This might just I could see something popping up on our team trivia at some point.
Yes, I can.
And today, Pizza Hut operates in over 110 countries, right? So they started from just a $600 loan to being in space. That's pretty wild. Let's talk about the numbers. They've got over 19,000 locations globally. 99% are franchise, which is pretty fascinating. They have over 6,500 locations in the US. If you're looking at doing a traditional Pizza Hut unit, which I believe the traditional ones are like standalone
They are.
locations. So that's $777,000 to $2 million is the startup cost range. And then for delivery or carryout units, which I believe they call Delcos, is their terminology that they use, ranges between $640,000 and $1.2 million to get started. And then if you want to be in an inline or end cap, $462,000 to $791,000.
Yeah, I'll just, on the delivery and carry out, that's mostly because they just don't need the space, right? So 777 to 2 million to build a standalone, probably 30,000, 3,500 square foot store. Delivery and carry out, you maybe only need 800 to 1,200 square feet. So that's the difference in the cost. And it doesn't have to be in, high travel areas. So there's a lot of those out there. And I think that's a very smart move by their part to come up with those concepts.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like the standalone ones are way of the past at this point.
Agreed.
Well, wait till you guys see the sales. Let's see. So this is what makes it really interesting. So this is the dine-in red roof, the one's 777,000 to 2 million in startup cost, and the average sales are 1,088,000. So, not the best. You're talking if we add 2.7 and the median would be somewhere around 1.8, 1.9 in terms of the median startup cost. Check this out. The Delcos, they average $983,000 in sales with basically, I mean, let's just, for the sake of it, let's just call it half the startup cost.
Yeah, 50 to 60% of the cost. Yeah.
And then if we look at, we don't have inline here. Okay. I wish we would have had inline. I think the inline, guys, is from, I remember from making a video around this, I believe the inline is similar around sales volume. So it just shows I wouldn't be opening a traditional unit. I would definitely be opening one of the delivery, the Delcos, or an inline unit overall. Mark, when you guys were with Five Guys, were there different models or like footprints to open, or they had their just one standard?
The preference for franchisees was end line, end cap, mall locations. In other words, strip mall locations, end cap, preferably grocery dominated centers. Some very wealthy franchise owners, which we were not, would buy land and do ground up leases and build standalone units. Not very, very many, but for the most part, that was the model strictly, and worked real well. Keeping in mind that they still do not have a drive-through concept for Five Guys because the food is made when it's ordered. So drive-through concepts are geared on you drive through McDonald's and you get your cheeseburger. By the time you order it and you drive up to the drive-through, your cheeseburger is ready because it's already cooked and packaged. That's not how Five Guys did it. So it wouldn't work that way. At least back in 2019, it didn't, and I haven't seen one since. But there weren't as many options and very few standalone Five Guys. Five Guys model was based upon the fact that you wanted to be where everybody else was. So you didn't need to own the single freestanding location. And you know what? They were completely correct.
Yeah, makes sense. I think they're the results they produced speak for themselves.
Yeah, and you showed the average sales for Pizza Hut. Five Guys average sales were higher than that, and it didn't cost $2 million to build a location. So our costs were more aligned with what the delivery stores were. So to your point earlier, there's a reason why you don't see too many freestanding Pizza Huts being built anymore.
Yeah. I think overall Pizza Hut, and there's a lot more competition these days than there was years ago as well. And just frankly, better quality pizza, sometimes for the same price.
And let's again, with the Uber Eats of the world and the DoorDash of the world, now companies that never were delivery concepts are delivering, right? So it used to be that if you wanted food delivered, pizza was it, right? Maybe some Chinese places had delivery, but now you can order anything. So I think it's even been more competitive. And I think they're really challenging businesses to run. That's why the delivery ones are doing so well. It doesn't require as much labor, blah, blah, blah. A lot of advantages to the non-freestanding, lease draining, rent draining business model.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, guys. Well, if you're looking at this thinking, well, I don't want to own a Pizza Hut and I don't want to spend $2 million doing it, or they're really saturated, I'm not interested in Pizza Hut in general, I'm totally with you. If you want to learn more about what franchises that are potentially available in your market or your area and ones that align with your goals, you can go to franchiseempire.com/check territory. You can schedule a call for free with our team. We'll be able to learn more about your goals, objectives, and find out, hey, what are great franchise brands that have a proven track record of making money that are available, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Absolutely.
Last but not least, we break down in this episode, let's see, buy a business that's already making $100,000. Most people think buying a business means instant income and freedom, but that's rarely how it works. And in this episode, we break down the misconceptions around franchise resales and why they can often lead to frustration for the wrong people. So you'll learn the difference between starting fresh versus buying an existing business. You guys can watch that on our Franchise Empire YouTube channel if you want to watch it. If you want to listen to it as a podcast episode, you can just look up the Zero to Profitable Franchise podcast and click right there, and it'll take you to it. And then the second piece of content we have is around Smoothie King. So if you've ever driven by a Smoothie King and wondered, how much do those cost to open? How much do those make on average? Well, guess what? We did a whole video breaking it down, answering that questions. You can also go check that out on the Franchise Empire YouTube channel or listen to it on your favorite podcast platform. With that said, thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Mark, thanks as always for joining.
Thank you, Tarek.
Yes, sir. We'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good week.
Have a good week. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.